Alright guys, welcome back to 900 Pro Shop Reviews. Today we got the Hammer Anger. So it's a new line of ball. To be honest, just came on my doorstep. I have not too much information, kind of looked at the general numbers of it. Higher RG, medium disc. So the balls I have in my bag to compare with right now is a Hazmat Solid and a Scorpion Strike. Based on the information I have, it should be kind of right in between there. The Hazmat should, so far, is my benchmark smoothest, slowest ball off the spot, so it's kind of easy to kind of read and adjust off of it. I'm hoping for this anger to be a little bit sharper so that I can get a little left, where before I have to go to my Scorpion Strike. My Scorpion Strike is a lot cleaner, so for most times if I'm bowling on tournaments and stuff like that, the Scorpion Strike, I kind of have to take the cover off a little bit, keep it at like 2,000, 3,000, or else it is too sharp. And it's been a good one to punch between my Hazmat and my Scorpion. There is a small gap if I'm trying to be picky with my arsenal, so I think and I hope this will be in there. I have no information other than that about it, so all I can do, let's go throw some few shots, compare it with the Hazmat, compare it with the Scorpion, see what we get. Never thrown this ball yet, so I'm just gonna go where I think the Hazmat would be. Would be around 27 here. I'm gonna cross 17 at the arrows, and if it's anything sharper than the Hazmat, it's gonna cross over, but that's where I would be with the Hazmat. And it crosses over, so that's good. It hooks. Pretty quick, I'll say. I did get it into the friction. That's normally where I want the Hazmat to start, probably 2 feet earlier, just because it will solid, duller, and then it'll blend that spot better with the Hazmat. So seeing what I got out of that shot, immediately, it's a ball I want to be left of the Hazmat with, because it's storing more energy to make that quick right to left movement. So quick zone change. I'm gonna move at least 6 of my toes. I'm gonna get to like 20, probably gonna get, yeah, I'll just say 20, you know what? 20, get it to that same spot, down lane, a little later so it kind of comes back a little sharper. Got it right. Yeah, I got it right early. Got it right early, reads hard, so. It is a miss, but it probably off a miss, I will still make a move off of that. Just because I can see how much it wants to read off the friction. I'm gonna go another 3. Actually, before I move 3, you know what? I'm gonna throw it standing in the same spot. I'm actually gonna tighten up the line. I'm not gonna get it out to the friction that quick. Square up, have the angles in front of me a little. That way, we can see how it reacts a little bit better in the middle of the lane. So I want to be left of 20 for sure now. Say 22. Okay, so you can see that the ball's not as quick, obviously, if I don't get it too far right, so it's great. Like I said, I still off of the miss, even when I left that 3-6-10, I didn't want to chase it more left. And even me getting left me a 4-pin, so it gives me confidence to do so. So I think it's going to be one of those quick ball shapes in the back. Does look a little bit stronger than the Scorpion Strike, so for those who don't like to use the Scorpion line because it is too weak and sharp, and or doesn't get it to start up early enough for the people with lesser rev rate, then maybe this is a better choice for those that want to get away from the Scorpion. So I'm going to move another 3, like I said. I'm going to try to keep it in the middle again. I don't think I even need to get it that far right for it to come back. That was close. That was real close. So that one got a little left. I'm gonna oil a little longer, so it didn't really make that quick move, but it's still quicker than everything else I have. So I think it's a good happy medium right now. I'm gonna tweak a couple of shots here and there. So I'm kind of in a good zone right now, where I think I'm gonna throw a better shot. Just gonna move my feet to open up the angles. Wasn't the best, didn't look half bad though. So all I did was move 3 with my feet, kept my eyes at 20. So all it's doing is actually opening up that launch angle a little bit. So I'm getting it into the friction to get it started, but also giving it more room to hook back because I know it hasn't stopped going right to left as soon as I get it out in the friction. The hit wasn't really convincing, so I'm gonna try to just throw that one a little bit better. Maybe a little bit firmer on the hand. Actually not bad. It's kind of extreme of angles to be playing though. So I think right now to match up with my personal release with the polish on this ball. Like I said, most of these times I see something like that, I probably want to take off that cover. I mean, or I'd leave it because it's gonna be that much different than everything else I have. So when the rest of my stuff is losing angles, I could probably have pretty good use of it. Throw one more good one and we'll compare with the others right now. So yeah, ball's forced me to play a lot more angle than I'd be comfortable with. Just because crossing so many boards, you're running into a potential lot of mess inside there if I wasn't bowling by myself. So that being said, it's not the ideal surface I'd probably keep it, but at the same time it is different. So when, for say my Hazmat Solid is losing angle, we can see a quick change into this to see what happens when I'm tapping 10 pins and leaving flat 10s or 7 10s or anything like that with it. So I'm gonna throw the Hazmat. Quickly, I'm gonna immediately go back right because I assume this is where I normally play my Hazmat. Let's focus on how quick or slow because I assume this is gonna be a lot slower off the spot. And that's why it's the first ball out of my bag usually. Because that ball is just my benchmark. You can see it get into the spot, read the mid lane, slow down, and then it obviously still has enough energy to pop the back. A little bit to do with obviously my rev rate and my tilt, but at the same time it's still a lot slower off the spot. So for those that like a benchmark shape, the Hazmat Solid is still my go-to ball. If I'm trying to move off of it and get left once the Hazmat starts burning out because it's actually reading too early in the front, then I probably need something that's shaped better because if I move too deep with the Hazmat, and I'm gonna do one right now, I mean, I'm expecting this to not make it back, but let's see what happens. This ball's still really good for me. That just read up earlier as I got it more left, so that didn't do the results I wanted to show, but I assumed if I get more left with this ball, it just gets flatter in the back, just because the angle's kind of not really, or it's too much for it to come back. It does have a little bit of lane shine. I usually have it around 2,000 to 3,000. I know out of box is a lot duller, but I got way more play with it, so I'm gonna keep moving left with this just to see when I lose angle with this to compare. All right, got the carry, but you can see how much it doesn't want to come back right to left once I got it right to that break point. And that's kind of what I'm saying. So if I go, and I'm going to throw in right now just so we have an immediate comparison. I'm going to go straight into the anger, stand in that same spot, and then you'll kind of see the immediate difference right away. And when we're making these reviews, this is the best way I can kind of demonstrate to the public is kind of how I can see the ball and read the ball on how quick and how early it reads up, because that's the best way to describe ball motion. Right, so that same spot is where I just threw the Hazmat and I almost two-pinned. It rolled it, yeah, sure, but definitely wasn't convincing, right? It didn't make that corner right to left back. Immediately I throw the anger on that exact same spot, and then you'll see the difference of it making that recovery angle. All right, and the last ball I'm going to compare with is the Scorpion Strike. So overall, this ball should be a lot weaker, which does make it want to come back sharper. However, I did also take the cover off just like I would. Just gonna throw a stock shot and see what happens with this. This is where I was throwing with the Hazmat Solid when it was striking good. Right? Personally, I love that ball anyway too, so my bag's pretty convincing right now for me. That ball, that layout, I also put the exact same layout on that as the Anger, just because I wanted to be different than the Hazmat. I didn't want it to be too the same, and I didn't want too many pin down balls. That's also why I think it's probably sharper. That Scorpion Strike looked pretty good. I'm gonna move left, where I finished that Anger shot and where the Hazmat barely made it back, just so you can see what happens. Right? Ball's just a lot weaker, doesn't really want to climb that hill. So in this situation, it's a little different. So because the core is a lot weaker, it actually hasn't even started when I'm in the oil. Where the Anger and the Hazmat starts, but the Hazmat doesn't have enough angle to come back. And the Anger has the angle to come back. So just like I said, within the numbers, I think it's exactly as I imagined, especially with the layouts I have on it. So you want to come right here. I have the Hazmat here, the Anger here, Scorpion Strike here. So I have the Hazmat here as probably the slowest, earliest looking shape. When I get left and start to lose angle with it, I go straight to the Anger, which is going to pick up in the same general area as it wants to, or at least the core wants to start up, and then it'll just punch harder than the Hazmat. And then as soon as I get too deep and too sharp with this, I can go into the Scorpion Strike, which is a weaker ball. Without the cover of it being super shiny, I can kind of get it to kind of smoothen out the back a little bit more, even though it is the same pin-up pearl ball. It's, to me, I think I would line it up kind of like that 1, 2, 3 in the bottom side of my bag, and then that's where I have it. And underneath the Scorpion, as you saw in my previous video, I have added the Ivory Rhino as well. So that's my last ball to sum up the bottom, the mid and the mid bottom of my bag. And I think it's going to be a pretty good addition. I'm probably going to see it as a transition piece to see when I'm trying to get in between balls, when I'm trying to get picky with a reaction and I don't want to move too much and change too much of my launch angles, especially on the sport shot when you're messing around too much in the front part of the lane. But that's where I'm going to put the Anger right now. So I'm going to throw some more shots with it later, and then maybe tweak the surface if I need to make it more what I'm more accustomed to seeing, because it is pretty sharp off the cover right now with it being fresh. And then we can go from there. So keep your eyes peeled for those that's looking for a medium pearl piece. Anger reminds me a lot of the Columbia 300 bow. Personal favorite of mine back then when I used to throw it. So really nice colors. All right, thanks guys. Thanks for watching.